Who is the doer? You are not the doer. You just think you're somebody doing something. You think you're in control. You think you know. But what happens when you stop thinking? We observe the doer. We sever our attachment, our identification with the actor. Instead of thinking we're the actor, when we stop thinking, we observe the actor. We observe the doer. And we realize we are not our actions. We are not our body. We are not our thoughts. We are not our senses. We are observing it. We just get caught in the game, in the illusion, by thinking. Why? We get agitated by all the stimulation, aggravation, and information in the sea of stimulation, right? This all aggravates us, which perpetuates the cycles of thought. And then we think we're somebody doing something, and we think we're in control, and we think we know. Right? This is the illusion. So how do we escape from this thinking? Thinking we are the doer. Remember, what happens when you stop thinking long enough? Most people never stop thinking. So they've never had a chance to be the observer, to realize we're actually just nature running off. And when we think we're somebody doing something, we think we're in control, we're going to be caught in the cycles of suffering. Because all suffering assumes control. As long as we think we're in control, we think we're the doer, we're going to be caught in cycles of suffering. Right? We have to observe no matter what's happening, no matter what the doer or the actor is doing. Do not become attached with it. Stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. That includes you. Right? That includes you to observe yourself. All things, including all things, everything. It's all one. So allow God, the divine, to work through you by becoming the observer. Right? I am not the doer. I don't think I'm the doer. I'm going to stop thinking and observe my nature running off. Observe. So no matter what we are doing, we don't have to have things like judgment of ourselves, right? Because judgment assumes control. It assumes we're making a choice. There is no choice. We don't have to have regret about the past, or guilt, or shame, right? Or sin. All these things assume control. But when we stop thinking and stand in the center of the circle, and allow all things to take their course and become the observer, we realize there is no control. So all these things just fall away. Right? And we become God observing itself. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. We become a vessel for the divine, for God, to work through us. This is how we do our highest good. How do we end wars? Right? What is war might be a topic for a different video, but how do we end wars? To end the wars externally, we have to end the wars internally, the battle with the ego. Right? You have to stop identifying with the ego. How do we do that? By stop thinking. How do we stop thinking? Facilitating a state of peace. Reconstitute and empty the mind, which is part of stopping thinking, right? We have to purify the body, which helps calm the mind and body, which helps us stop thinking more, right? We have to stand in the center of the circle. These things are important, right? This is how we end the war within. And the more we stay present and we surrender completely to God, allow God to work through us, the higher our vibration will go, and the higher the vibration of the planet will go. And this will allow God to work through us in greater and greater ways. And this is how we free ourselves. Remember, a truly free people would not allow the control we allow, in a sense, because we are not truly free. We are suppressed and we are manipulated and controlled, specifically through things like the toxic food program and the entertainment program and big, medical pharmaceutical program, all in an effort to create a self-limiting, controllable, manipulatable, I don't know if that's a word, population. And that's what they have done. So to end all the wars externally, we have to first free ourselves, as above, so below. Right? So this all goes back to the doer, not being the doer. Whatever we're doing, we can just observe. We don't have to say, why am I doing that? Once we become the observer, we just observe whatever's happening. There's no good or bad. There's no bad habits. They're merely things we do to cope with being out of balance. That's what our being is doing to be. But we're observing it all. It's just merely chemistry and conditioning. Imagine what your nature is gonna do just based off your chemistry and your conditioning, right? Pretty much all our conditioning and the state of our chemistry is gonna impact how we act and react in our energies. So it all comes back to stop thinking and end all of your problems. So remember, we are observing the doer no matter what we do. Why did I do that? Damn it. No, we got to catch ourselves. This is what staying present is all about, is reprogramming ourselves. That's why I make all these videos saying the same damn thing, because it is difficult to reprogram yourself. So we got to keep at it, and we got to keep reminding ourselves on a daily basis to stop thinking and end all of our problems, to purify the vessel, fruits, berries, and melons, the simplest, the most energetic, the most hydrating, the most alkaline, the most soothing foods like grapes, berries, blueberries, whatever you like. I love bananas and mangoes, coconuts, watermelons. Coconuts aren't fruits, that's okay. Watermelons, melons, things like this. These are the most hydrating and healing and energetic foods. And naturally, we'd be picking and peeling fruit. This is how we purify the body. This is how we detox. This is how we allow the body the space it needs to heal itself, by removing all the obstructions. And this allows us to calm the mind. And calm the body, calm the mind. It's all one. More, which allows us to stay present and surrender more. And then we observe the doer. We observe nature running off, not just in ourselves, but in everything. And we don't get caught in the game as much, in the illusion when someone else does something. They're just their nature running off. I don't have to get caught in doing anything or judging anybody. We don't have to judge people for doing anything or eating. So how can they eat like that? That assumes control. There is no control. We realize that they are just nature running off and we are just nature running off. This is how we end all of our problems. This is how we allow the divine to flow through us, by surrender, complete surrender, and not being attached to somebody doing something, to who they think they're in control and they think they know. And when we think we know, this causes a lower limiting perspective, which allows us to get controlled and manipulated, because we're limiting our perspective, so we're missing everything else. That's what happens when you think you know. So you got to let it all go. You got to stand in the center of the circle, which is true common sense. No biases or attachments, and just observe and not attach yourself to this is correct, or this is correct, or this is wrong, or this is wrong, or I know this. Guess what? As soon as you say, I know this, you're limiting that perspective. The center of the circle is, I know, I don't know. Let's see if I can remember the quote. Not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. First, you must realize you are sick, then you can move toward health. All right? That's such a powerful line. Not knowing is true knowledge. Stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. Don't be attached to being the knower. We think we know. We get attached to being the knower. That's going to cause, all these things cause suffering, especially control. All suffering assumes control, because it assumes we're getting attached to having done something or the things we're going to do and how it's going to affect things. Because we think we're in control of affecting things through thinking we're the doer, thinking we're in control, thinking we're somebody doing something. So when we stop thinking, facilitate a state of peace, our conditioning learns to start removing stimulation, aggravation, and information. And eventually we might reach a point where we realize we have, instead of taking things in, we have to empty the mind, to reconstitute the mind, which allows the mind to reprogram itself. How do we empty the mind? Staying present more. Stop taking in excess information as best as we can. We're always going to be getting a little bit here or there, and sometimes it might go up a little bit, sometimes it'll go down a little bit. But the idea is to as much as possible, stop taking in information. This creates a necessary space to receive deeper understanding from the divine, right? So as we go through, so this adds another level to observing, because as the other observer, no matter what's happening, if we're observing, we're being conscious, and this allows deeper understanding. And this all folds in with our chemistry and our conditioning, right? And just observing nature running off. It was all going to happen exactly like this. There's only divine timing anyway. Only one thing can ever happen, right? We never made a wrong decision. This releases us from any attachment to the past or the future, right? By staying present. Staying present releases us from the past and the future, because we realize there is no control. Staying present is giving up control. It's surrender. That's what surrender is. When they say surrender to God, that's giving up control. The illusion of control, thinking we're in control, and realizing only God is in control, only our cosmic beloved. And when we give that up, higher self, purifying the body is very important, right? Our conditioning needs to hear these things, and then our chemistry is going to put us in certain situations where eventually our conditioning is going to have to do something, right? And we're just observing it all, no matter what it is. Like, I go back and forth between the raw foods, mostly on the raw foods and fruits, but sometimes I get kicked off, and I get kicked off after detoxing for many years. And my body is very sensitive to cooked foods now. I can keep cooked foods for a very short time, and it immediately impacts my body. All my joints start hurting, my back starts hurting, my spine, right? It's just such an immediate impact. Because why? Because I'm reversing the adaptations all of our bodies have gone through under the toxic food program. Our bodies are forced to adapt to wrong foods that harm us because they don't have another choice. But when we start eating raw foods, especially fruits, our bodies start to reverse the adaptation. That's what detoxifying is. It's reversing the adaptation. And then the longer we do it, the more sensitive we get to our true sensitivity to these foods we're not supposed to eat. But most people don't feel it because their bodies have adapted. I feel it. I fucking feel it. It's very difficult. It's almost like, oh man, I can't go back. The path is self-correcting. Once you come far enough, I can't go back to that if I wanted to, because I would destroy myself physically. If I eat even a handful of cooked meals within, a few weeks, let's say, I almost can't get out of bed. My body hurts so bad. But then as soon as I go back on the fruit, it's such a stark experience that I've gone through, constantly gaining a deeper understanding of the impact of these things. And things like adaptation. Our body is forced to adapt because it has no other choice. So imagine the state at which people have to get to where they're starting to have serious issues that they're actually recognizing. Imagine the internal state, not good. And that's pretty much everybody. Almost everybody I meet has some sort of issue, some sort of pain and imbalance, because almost everybody's eating the toxic food program. And it ain't their fault. And it ain't nobody's fault. So don't be mad at yourself for, why did I eat like this my life? Why did I wish I didn't drink? You were doing the only thing you could possibly do based off your chemistry, your condition, your nature running off. You couldn't have never made a different decision. That was the only thing that was ever going to happen because it happened. So we can't be mad at ourselves for destroying our bodies because we're not doing anything anyway. We're not the doer. We just thought we were just attached this whole time to thinking we're somebody doing something, to thinking we're in control. And just let it all go, or let go all the past and the future and just stay present. That's all there is to do. There's nothing to do but to do nothing. Stop thinking. And purification. Remember, we're talking at so many different levels. And it could require us to gain a deeper understanding through things like emptying and reconstituting the mind, right? Which removing the stimulation, aggravation, and information, which allows us to gain deeper understanding, which allows us to stay present more. Which is all there is to do, is give it all up. You have to give it all up to get it all our attachments to trying to do something or thinking we're somebody doing something. It's always going to cause suffering at some point, or that's a cycle of suffering, identifying with the self. Stop thinking and end all of your problems. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. Namaste.